around us, but on one of the first exits heading east out of Albuquerque, the stories in one spot are literally stacked on top of each other. The old wooden windmill, still spinning just off the Carnuel exit on I-40, is not just decorative.
It's part of our history. It's part of life that's gone before us.
The blades go round and round, just like the mission of Rangewood reclaimers.
Right now, you're basically taking a big step back into the history of the American West.
If walls could talk, this room would be singing.
We have customers that will come in here and literally spend hours.
Steve and Claudia Huchting.
Sounds kind of silly. The wood has it has a heart or a life to it of its own.
Are the couple behind an idea that started in southern New Mexico.
I used to drive by this barn that sat out in the field, and it always caught my eye.
As time passed,
the barn completely came down, and I recall pulling over to the side of the road, and out loud I said to myself, well, I wonder what kind of history took place in that barn that no one's going to know about.
From that point on, his future would be reclaiming the barns and the stories within.
That's how Rangewood came about.
Like the lesser-known tale about a very well-known bear cub.
And he said he remembered how mad his Aunt Elsa got when they bring the bear cub in the house because it'd tear down her curtains.
They dismantled the barn that once housed Smokey Bear.
The original couple that owned the barn, his name was S. Omar Barker, and he and his wife were prolific cowboy authors, and they're in the Hall of Fame. And his brother was the game and fish and got the phone call about the bear cub that got burned. And they kept Smokey there until he got too big, and then he was flown to the Washington Zoo.
Other stories might be hard to believe.
It is 10 miles from the Roswell crash site.
Like the barn they took down in southern New Mexico.
Two of the ranch hands went out to the crash site after it happened, and they came back and they had a piece of metal or piece of something that they could take, and it would wad all up, but it would flatten itself back out. And then supposedly they were trying to cut it with a knife and it wouldn't cut. And then gentlemen in suits showed up and took the one other ranch hand away for a little while.
Now the wood from those old barns is coming around again. Used in the new shelter for the elephants at the Asia exhibit in Albuquerque Zoo.
We did all this.
It's been given new life inside Boxcar's new restaurant in Santa Fe. And you can see Rangewood's reclaimed work at the historic Lobo Theater in Nob Hill.
But here, I'm starting to realize there's such beauty in all this imperfection, and people really are drawn to that.
Some stories have already been lost to time. But some, like Smokey's barn, Rangewood saved just in the nick of it.
We drove up the canyon after the fire, that Hermit's Peak fire, and the barn would have been gone.
Preserving pieces of the past.
Like the bio part. Our grandchildren have gone down there, and hopefully they take their children, their kids, and can pass that on. And it's like, look what they did.
Hoping the stories go round and round forever.
To be a part of the legacy of the Old West, that's what inspires me.
With this heart of New Mexico, I'm Ryan Laughlin, KOB4.